Alrighty guys, we'll go ahead and get started. My name is Peyton, by the way. I'm the therapy manager right down the hall. You can't hear me? Can you hear me now? Yeah? Okay. I naturally talk really loud, so now you have to let me know if I'm screaming at you, okay? So I was just saying that I'm the therapy manager. My name is Peyton. Our office is right back here. So at the end, we'll kind of talk about how all of this ties into therapy, if there's any questions, comments, or concerns, and anything like that. So this month is National Speech, Language, and Hearing Month, which is something I'm passionate about because I'm a speech therapist. And a lot of you guys might say, well, I talk just fine. And yeah, you do. But so much of my job, especially in a place like this, we really work on thinking and remembering. And that is something that you're not special if your thinking and remembering is declining. You're normal. So it happens to all of us.
I can't remember.
Come on in. So it happens to all of us. So today I'm going to talk about something that each and every one of you might experience. You might know somebody who's experiencing it. We're going to talk about some ways to prevent what we can prevent and take care of what we have left. Okay? So this is Brain Boosters, habits that help us thrive. Okay. So we're going to get warmed up. We're going to do a little bit of an icebreaker, okay? So we're going to wake our brains up with a quick activity. We're going to play a word association game. So here's how it's going to work. I am going to give you guys a word to start with, and then you're just going to say a related word, okay? And then the next person might chime in with another word related to that same first word. There's no wrong answers. I really like the crazy, wonky words that make you think a little bit harder. How is that connected? Okay, so let's see what we can do here. So the first word is apple. Can anybody come up with a related word for apple? Core? Fruit. Pie. What else? Tree. Bite. Yes, excellent. Apple computer. See, that's the one. It might not be a clear pathway to get from apple to computer. That's one of those deep pathways that we're stimulating in our brain to get there. Very excellent. So you guys came up with those words in maybe 10 seconds, right? That is a quick connection that your brain is making, and that shows a lot of cognitive flexibility, which is excellent. That's exactly what we want. All right, one wasn't enough. We're gonna do another. Same thing here. The word is dog. What do you guys? Cat. Ooh, an opposite. What else? Leash. Canine.
Gone.
Gone?
Doggone.
Doggone. I like that one. Rob?
God in reverse.
God.
Days.
Dog days. You guys are excellent.
Bark.
Bark. Perfect. Food. Pet. Collar. All of those, what were you going to say? Walk. Excellent. Ooh, I like that one because what we're going to talk about later are habits that really help support thinking and remembering. Walking is going to be one of them. I also think that dogs in general, pets in general, really help support cognition too, so I'm going to get into that also. Here you two go.
Thank you, sweetie.
You're welcome. Okay, another quick activity. This is also a brain activity, a thinking and remembering activity. So what we're going to do here, finish the phrase. Better late than never. Never. A penny saved is a penny. I didn't know that one. That's excellent. Yeah, really. No, I did not know that one. My poor fiance would be very mad at me that I don't know anything about financial planning. Anyways, a picture's worth 1,000. When in Rome, do as the excellent. Actions speak louder than. You're never too old to learn new tricks like a dog. Where there's a will, there's a. Yep. Don't count your chickens before they. Fast as a. Fox. Fast as a fox? I like rabbit. Some of you guys around the campus have the power scooters. They've got the rabbit as the fast setting. I like that one. Back to square. Excellent. All good things must come to an. Okay. Very good, you guys. So these types of tasks, they use stored knowledge and retrieval. So these are all things that you guys have heard one time in your life, probably many, many years ago. You stored it up here, and now when it comes time to ask, we're using that retrieval. Okay? This is a different one. So we're going to shift a little bit into logic. So which one doesn't belong? Okay. Carrot, why? It's a vegetable. Dog, cat, bird, chair. Why? It's not alive, it's not an animal, you got it. Fork, spoon, knife, plate. Okay, can't trick you guys. Circle, square, triangle, cube. Okay, how come? Woo. Because it's 3D. Yeah, okay, you guys were quicker than me today. Pen, pencil, crayon, paper. Okay, it is used for writing on, not writing with. Last one here, socks, gloves, shoes, watch. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, so you can wear it, but it doesn't have the same wearing function that the others do, right? Those ones are for warmth or protection. The watch is different. So these logic questions, we really rely on categorization and reasoning skills. Okay, so these are also key cognitive components that we use every day. And it may not look like this, right? But this is the core of what we're doing when we're trying to be logical human beings, right? And making these decisions. So, what do we actually mean by brain health? How do you take care of a thing that you can't see and you can't feel and you don't, you can't do bicep curls to strengthen your arms, right? So, brain health is how well our brain functions across thinking, feeling, moving, interacting. So it includes things like memory, mood, coordination, communication. Something that I really like to strive on as a speech therapist is brain health is not about perfection. Nobody has a perfect brain. Like I said at the very beginning of this, and this is something important to me, your brains are meant to do what they're doing, right? Brains age. You're not lifting the same amount of weights that you were lifting when you were 25. That's not happening. Your brain is the same, right? Your brain is not meant to remember every single thing you've ever known or done or seen, right? So brains have change. It's not about perfection. It's about maintaining a good quality of life, okay? So, brain health matters because it affects almost everything, right? It affects your independence, your safety, your emotional well-being. So what's the encouraging part here? Because I'm talking about brains declining naturally. What's the encouraging part? Well, while things like aging and genetics do play a role into that cognitive decline, lifestyle factors are very powerful and modifiable when it comes to how your brain is working. So now we're going to talk about some practical ways to support your brain. I want you guys to think of these as brain booster habits. I'm not asking anybody to make big changes today, right? But a small change here and a small change tomorrow, those things add up. and they'll go a long way to keep you guys safe and independent and in your homes for as long as you can be there. And while I just have said that, I want you to know that that's therapy's goal, right? We always want you to be where you're at for as long as you can. And so let's talk about some ways that we can do that. So nutrition counts a whole lot. So what you eat directly affects your brain. Do as I say, not as I do. I have the biggest sweet tooth. I'm drinking 300 milligrams of caffeine over there. So let's talk about some things that really help our brains and support our cognitive function, okay? Those things are vegetables, especially the leafy greens, spinach, kale, romaine, all of those kind of leafy greens and just vegetables in general will help your brain function at its best. Berries and healthy fats. I have been told once that if it looks like a brain, it's good for your brain. So berries are kind of brain shaped. Maybe there's evidence behind that. Fish and whole grains. And then we should be trying to limit processed foods and excess sugar. They're not good for your brain health. They're not good for your overall health. It's the fun stuff that tastes good. Everything in moderation, I think, is a realistic way to think about modifying your diet for brain health. Like I said, you don't need perfection. Just aim for patterns that are sustainable over time. Staying active. Movement is another very, very powerful brain boosting habit. So exercise increases blood flow to the brain. It supports memory. So even simple activities like walking, as we mentioned before, that can make a big difference. So again, consistency matters more than your intensity. I'm not asking anybody to hop on a treadmill and take a jog. You'll never find me jogging, but I will go on a walk. We have a lovely walking trail upstairs. The community is beautiful. Sometimes you'll catch me outside taking a walk when I need out of my little cinder block closet office. Join me. Come take a walk with me. So your vascular health, your heart health is another really important factor when it comes to thinking and remembering. So what's good for your heart is good for your brain. Managing things like blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, these things help your brain function. So a lot of us are dependent on medications to help with some of these things, but if we take a step even further back, some of the things that we're eating and drinking can also contribute to high blood pressure, high sugar, high cholesterol. So modifying the diet might then end up helping the medications that you're taking to manage these conditions as well. So healthy heart, healthy brain. I'm going to pause really quick, maybe. Does anybody have any questions about anything we've talked about yet? I'm Italian, I talk loud and I talk fast, so let me know if I'm flying through this, okay? This is probably, I don't know if I've already said I have a favorite, but this might be it. Mental stimulation. I'm going off script a little bit. So when we hit COVID several years ago, a lot of us did not have companionship. A lot of us were isolated, and we didn't have other human connections if we didn't have a spouse, right? There's a lot of evidence and research that went into how brains were operating after this isolation period, and it is a substantial cognitive decline if you don't have connections. So forming connections and having this mental stimulation in any way is excellent, okay? Staying engaged, having a companion, whether it is a dog or maybe it's your spouse or a friend next door. That's wholly important for your brain health. So back to the slide, not all brain games are equal. I will say start anywhere with any kind of thinking task. But to get the most bang for your buck, we want a little bit of a challenge, okay? So learning something new, doing problem-solving tasks, teaching something to other people that maybe you're an expert on. So passive activities, they're gonna help. They're less effective than those active, brain-engaging, new learning tasks. What you're doing there is you're firing up new pathways in your brain and you're making your whole brain work, where maybe if you were doing something that wasn't challenging, just this little part of your brain is lighting up, and that's still great. But you're not gonna get the whole picture there, right? Okay, that's my soapbox as a speech therapist. So curiosity is a very powerful tool, trying new things, even when it's uncomfortable. Getting out of your comfort zone is obviously uncomfortable, right? There's a Zumba class that they do from chair dancing maybe, out here, and I see so many people going to this class, and that's something I would have a hard time doing myself, because people are watching me dance. What do you mean I have to go dance in front of people? But that movement, that music, that engagement is so good for your brain, and maybe you're not comfortable with it, but everybody else who's trying that for the first time is thinking the same thing. Nobody's watching you. Promise. Sit in the back, get comfortable with it, move up front a little bit, and then keep moving forward. You've become that expert as you get comfortable with it. You've done a lot of good for your brain. So staying curious, trying new things, that's going to keep your brain flexible. Learning doesn't stop as we get older, right? It just changes what that looks like over time, right? You guys have done your careers, you've learned the language that you might want to learn. I don't know, maybe you start learning another or bits of another, but it just changes, right? What we're learning, how we're learning, that changes over time, but it's important to keep going. Okay, paying attention to your thoughts is really important too. If you catch yourself thinking, I'm too old for this, or my brain isn't working like it used to, that's not helping you, that's not helping anybody. I want you to start catching those thoughts when they happen, or just being aware that those are happening. And I want you guys to really try to reframe those thoughts. It's not meant to. It's not meant to be the same. It can't possibly be the same. So what I want you guys to do when you're having these doubtful thoughts, I can learn at my own pace. Or hey, I am 85 years old and I'm learning a new language, or I'm learning a new hobby. That's not something a lot of people can say, right? So catch yourself before we start thinking negative thoughts, reframe that. That support that you're giving yourself is going to support resilience and your emotional health, right? Nobody's happy if they're talking bad to themselves all the time. That sticks with you. Using memory strategically. There are strategies. We cannot gain our memory back, but what we can do is compensate for what we know we have problems with. So using reminders is helpful. Those post-it notes on your door, or the post-it note on your medicine cabinet to take your medicines, that's excellent, that's helpful. But don't stop there. I want you guys to challenge yourself to actively recall information, explaining things in your own words, so you're absorbing some information, you're thinking on it, and you're turning it around in your brain, and then you can pop that information back out into the world in your own words. That's been coded up here in your brain. That's going to help you remember those things, okay? Effort strengthens your memory, okay? Sleep is critical. Sleep gives the brain time to recover. It helps your brain process your memories. It clears out the waste. So we're aiming for 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Who here gets 7 to 9 hours of sleep? Couple. Ooh, a lot of you. Gosh, that's excellent. So a good way to do that is kind of setting this nighttime routine for yourself. We're going to go to bed at the same time and we're going to wake up at the same time. That's ensuring that we know that our 8 hours is in this time frame and that's what that time is allocated for. I do as I say, not as I do. Limit the caffeine intake, especially in the afternoon. That sweet tea that you guys like, it's got caffeine in it. Green tea, caffeine, coffee, my goodness. Lots of caffeine. So those things will help you rest better at night and fall asleep better. I like this bullet point here about morning light exposure. That's going to get your day set off in a really good way too, okay? Chronic stress harms the brain. And sometimes it's pretty hard to manage stress. Some helpful tools are deep breathing, okay? When these guys are coming to my office and they all come at the same time, my team, they all need something from me at the same time and it's hard and it's stressful and I just need to close my door and count to 10, okay? So some deep breathing exercises to kind of reset your nervous system and give yourself a chance to calm down. And then we can tackle all of the problems. So, breathing exercises, time outdoors. Gosh, a breath of fresh air. You know when you meet somebody that feels like a breath of fresh air? Oh, it's just like you can calm down. Actual fresh air does that for us too. Support from others. Also goes back to those meaningful connections and interactions that I was talking about earlier. If you just have that one person that you can vent to, and maybe they're just listening, right? But you feel better once you've gotten it off your chest. And sometimes you don't want them to give you advice. You already know that advice. You just need somebody to listen. So that's really a good way to manage your stress. Write it down. Tear it up when you're done. I don't care. Keep it in a journal, but write those feelings down, get it off your chest and on some paper, and then it's really clearing up space in your head that was taking up negative space. Okay, so your mental health and your brain health are so closely related to one another. So nurturing one nurtures the other as well. Okay, so present moment awareness. This is mindfulness, meditation, slowing down. 5 minutes a day, 5 minutes in a high stress time, 5 minutes at the worst part of your day or the best part of your day can really slow everything down, reframe the situation, and give you the brain space to handle that activity or the rest of your day. So notice your thoughts without reacting to them. That is a very learned skill, but I don't know, picture something calming in your mind and watch that kind of ebb and flow. Maybe it's an ocean and you can see the waves coming up and going back out, or I don't know, maybe you even listen to ocean sounds on your phone. So this improves attention and will reduce stress as well. So reflection is also something that really helps us grow. At the end of the day, I think it's important to say, well, how did this day go? If it went good, what did we do that made it good? If it went poorly, where might we, make some adjustments tomorrow, okay? What did we learn from this experience? I stepped into this role as the manager about a year ago, and I am reflecting all of the time. What did I learn today from this team? Or why did I have this challenge in front of me, and how did I overcome it, and what did I learn? A lot of reflection, okay? So this builds insight. It helps with your emotional balance, which again is going to help support your brain health. Okay, see, I got ahead of myself. Staying socially connected. I had a feeling it would be here, but it is that important. We will talk about it again. Social connection is one of the strongest predictors of brain health. So it's not about, oh, I have the most friends and the most people sitting around me. It's about that one strong connection, or those 3 strong connections that are there for you, no matter what. Those people are going to be your listening ear. They're going to help regulate you and bring your emotions down and help you navigate through things. So, wholly important. I recommend scheduling it like you're going to schedule your exercise, okay? After I go to the gym today at, 3 o'clock, maybe I take a friend, I don't know, and then we're going to go have a smoothie afterwards. And when we're having that smoothie, we can talk about the things that have happened to us today, or the good things or the bad things, and how we're adjusting and adapting to those things. Practicing vocational wellness. So having a purpose, finding a purpose, really matters. So I know most of you, all of you guys had careers and big lives before you lived here, and you continue to have these big lives, and they all matter, and you guys are so involved here. If you don't have something that you are involved in or you feel passionate about that you get to do every day, maybe that's something that we work on now, and I can help you figure that out too. We can talk about what your passions were in life and how can we still be doing that. Age should not be really keeping you from the things that you love. Maybe we just have to modify that task, okay? So it could be volunteering, it could be helping others, it could be going up to creative arts and still doing the crocheting and the knitting and all of the things that you guys have loved. So feeling useful really supports memory and emotional health as well. Life changes, and flexibility is key. I know you guys know that life changes. You guys probably all had beautiful homes, and you sacrificed your beautiful home to be somewhere where you felt safe and supported, and somewhere that you could receive the help that you needed if and when the time comes. So you guys have all experienced this change, and you all have been flexible, and that's why you're here. So that's a big change. Excuse me. We can be flexible with smaller changes too throughout the day, focusing on what you can control rather than the things that you can't control. Adjusting your expectations to be a little bit more realistic, and so that adaptability is really going to support your long-term well-being. This is something that I struggle with. My expectations are here all of the time, and then when my expectations aren't met, my stress is up here. I'm frustrated, and that's not helping, right? The thing's already been done. What we're going to do is we're going to reflect on that. We're going to learn from that. How can we adapt and change? We're going to avoid those high stress situations that I've then created for myself, and that's going to support your long-term well-being. Compassion, self-compassion, be kind to yourself. I say all of the time, I hear some of the things that some of the people are saying, I can't do that, or I can't do this. I'll say, well, stop talking about my friend Marsha like that. If Marsha's having these self-thoughts that aren't positive, stop talking about my friend Norma like that. Norma, you be positive about yourself. It's what you can do right now that's what we're going to focus on. I want you guys to stop saying, I can't do this, and it should be, well, look at what I can do. Despite everything that's been thrown at me in my whole life, I am here and I am doing the things that need to be done, and that is huge. So be kind to yourselves. Talk to yourself the way that you want your loved ones to talk to themselves. Okay, some cognitive risk factors. We've just talked a lot about the things that we can start doing to help our brains. Let's start talking about some of the things that we can stop doing or limiting to help our brains. So these lifestyle changes can reduce your risk of developing dementia or any kind of cognitive decline. Smoking, excess drinking, chronic inactivity, I feel, is a big one. I'm not going to make any assumptions here, but I don't see a ton of concerns with smoking and excess alcohol around. Chronic inactivity, though. Just schedule some movement into your day. I know it gets harder as we get older, but let's stay ahead of it and keep going. Head injuries, fall precautions, fall preventions. Come see therapy of any kind, home health. Otterbein has their own home health. My team is literally like through that closet room back there, okay? Before you get to a point where we're having a fall with injury, if you're feeling weak, if you're feeling dizzy, if you're feeling unsteady, if you are unsure about your physical abilities, you need to go have therapy. Anywhere. I don't care where. I hope it's with me. I would love to see you guys again, but just get ahead of it, okay? Find a walker, find a wheelchair, find a friend that can support you for the second while you're dizzy, whatever it may be, okay? I feel pretty confident that most of your primary care physicians would love to hear you ask for therapy, and they will send you that order, they will send me that order, and we will get you taken care of, okay? Can anybody think of any fall prevention strategies? It's kind of my job, right? Having that walker. If you stand up when you're dizzy, what are you gonna do? Do you have a fall prevention?
Watch where you put your feet.
Watch where you put your feet. Watch where you put your magazines or your book. Excellent. What else?
Be mindful, think about what you're doing, not something else.
Yes, being mindful and thinking about what you're doing right now. So bring your brain back to what's going on, and your brain's not wandering and thinking about something that happened yesterday while you're trying to navigate this mess on the floor or whatever it is. Excellent. Another one I really like, because a lot of falls happen at nighttime. I get up to go to the bathroom several times at night. I've got a night light because I have animals, and those animals have dog beds in my room. You wouldn't believe how many people are tripping over their dogs. A night light, it really helps you see. Obviously, when you're sleeping, maybe when you wake up, you need to give your eyes a second to adjust. A lot of falls also happen in the bathroom. Non-skid strips in the shower. I don't care, shower shoes if you have to, okay? Just some things that if you're having some areas at home or some areas that are difficult and you know you might fall, let's see how we can fix that and get ahead of it. If you need help on that, I've got billions of strategies. The physical therapy team has even more, okay? And we're happy to come into your home and take a look and make recommendations specifically for your environment to get ahead of these falls. Big tangent, sorry. So paying attention, when to pay attention to your thinking and remembering changes. Like I said, some small changes to your thinking and remembering are normal and they're natural. And if you're forgetting the name of the person that you met a week ago, guess what? I did too. That's probably fine and that's probably normal, right? But when these memory changes start affecting your daily life, that could be when it's time to start talking to somebody. If you have confusion about time or something that you've always done and a very familiar task is now hard for you to do, maybe time to start talking to somebody. Personality changes. You were sweet as pie one day and then, my goodness, you're a bear the next, and it's not just situational, right? It's something that you can't control. That could be a sign that you're having some memory changes, okay? A little bit more on that. When we are having these memory changes and it feels so out of control, it's probably pretty normal to feel very frustrated, right? Nobody's happy about these memory changes. It's normal to be frustrated, but we know that's not you. You know that's not you. let's talk to somebody about it, okay? Trouble following conversations, that's an indicator for some short-term memory impairment, and a big thing about that is we don't want you missing out on those social connections that I have harped on for 30 minutes. If you're not following these conversations, you're missing out on your friends and your family telling you about their grandkids or your great-grandkids, or what's going on down the hall later today that you could possibly be going to and having fun at. So when you start missing these conversations or having trouble following them, probably time to start talking to somebody. So the earlier that we start addressing these concerns, the better that we are in the long run. We can get ahead of these things. We can start teaching you strategies, preparing you for what's to come and how to kind of prevent that or get ahead of it, okay? So I am not going to recommend anybody wait on that. If you have concerns about your thinking and remembering, address it sooner rather than later. How therapy can help. I think I've told you guys, you're going to be tired of hearing me say it. I'm a speech therapist. Memory is something that I feel so passionate about. So speech therapy can help with your memory, your thinking, so the things that we've done earlier. We did a lot of language tasks, right, with categorization and logic and reasoning. I can help with all of those. You guys didn't struggle with those by any means. But if you're having trouble making decisions in your life, that's something that speech therapy helps with. That's called executive function skills. So analysis and planning and the forward movement to complete these tasks. All something that speech therapy can help with. All of that kind of falls within our scope, as well as one small little plug. Swallowing. While we're talking about speech therapy, I would be remiss to not mention any swallowing problems that you guys are having is also something speech therapy addresses. Coughing, choking, throat clearing, pain when you swallow, food getting stuck. Reach out. Okay, so my mouth is really dry, you guys. I've been talking at you for a long time. I'm going to wrap up by saying brain health isn't about staying young. It is about staying engaged and staying flexible and staying connected. It's about making these small habits day by day to really affect the month down the road, the 2 months down the road. So these small habits, when they're done consistently, that's what's going to help us the most, okay? Anybody have any questions? Stanley.
Do we have the same paper that you have?
No, but you can have one of these if you would like it.
Because I couldn't find out, I couldn't follow you where you were.
Oh, okay. So Stanley was asking if you guys had the same papers that I was reading off of. The answer is no. This is a lot of pages, but if you want this information, I am so happy to give it to you. Okay, just talk to me afterwards, and I will. Yes.
What was the third one? Staying engaged, flexible, and
Connected.
connected.
Yes, ma'am. Being connected. What else? Any other questions about anything we talked about? Rob?
Is Kevin going to put this on OLN again?
My presentation?
Yes.
I can arrange for that.
Yes.
Woo! Okay, this will be available to you guys then. That's excellent.
I tried to take good notes and I respect greatly what you told us. Unfortunately for you, we're probably going to see me later for memory.
I hope I
work,
do.
But I also add on that to just listen one more time with my notes would be really swell.
Excellent. I don't know, maybe we can record it for somebody sometime, and but I might have some feedback. Okay. Yeah, you guys can listen to me say this as many times as you want. You can come sit in my office and I'll do it all over again. Like I said, it's something that I feel passionate about. Any other questions right now? Okay, so I brought Brain Booster Bingo. I think everybody should have a copy of this. We're not playing bingo. It's just something that I want you guys to look at. And I want you guys to consider where you fall here. Okay, so who here has slept 7 to 8 hours this week? You get a point. Who here has talked to a friend this week? Who here has met their water intake goals, which is 64 ounces a day? Yeah, I haven't, I'll tell you that. Attended an activity, practiced gratitude, challenged your brain, learned something new, tried something new. These are all of the things that we just talked about, and these are the small habits that you guys can start making. I'm not suggesting an overhaul of anybody's life. This would take a lot of time if you checked all of these things off every day, and there would be no time for life. I want you guys to pick an area that you might not be thriving in right here, whether it's your diet or your exercise or your social connection or your emotional health, your mental health. And I want that to be the focus. I want that to be the takeaway from today, okay? Pick one small area, make some small improvements that you can do every day, something that feels attainable. We're not going to set us up for failure by saying, well, I'm going to run a mile every day starting today, because that's what Peyton said I needed to do. Take a walk. Just take a 5-minute walk, and then the next week you'll take a 10-minute walk, and then you'll get up to a 30-minute walk, okay? These are the small changes I'm talking about. The last thing is this wellness newsletter. I won't go through all of this with you. Most of it is the things that we have just been talking about. I just like to send you guys home with something that you can remind yourself what I just talked about. You can refer back to it. You can give it to a friend that didn't come today. Whatever you want to do with this information is excellent. There is a little place at the bottom of the last page. I want you guys to do one thing for me. I want you guys to write down my phone number. Does everybody have a pen? I have extras. They're brand new pens, so you might need to scribble a little bit hard to get them working. You're welcome.
I can't write.
I'm gonna write for you.
It's been challenging.
Of course it has. All right, you guys, ready for my phone number? It is 513 696. Pen doesn't work. Oh, goodness gracious, these pens then. 513 696 8588. I will write this on everybody's if I need to, okay?
Okay, thank you.
There you go. Give me yours, Ann.
That's your autograph.
I'll sign my autograph. 88. 88. Yep.
One more time, Peyton, what was that?
513 696 8588.
And your name again?
I'm Peyton.
What?
Peyton, like Peyton Manning.
Spell Peyton for people that are a little different.
It is Peyton. Or you can just stop by my office. I would love to see your faces again. Right past the multi-purpose room is where I live. Okay, I'm unplugged. You come back. You're welcome. Pen busted too. Okay, what can I do to help you guys, or any questions or anything else that you need about therapy or brain health or anything? Bruce, what's up, Bruce? Thank you. Hi. Can you hear me now?
I've had the laugh of my day. Thank you. You consider 85 old.
No, honestly, I've learned a lot. Working in senior living facilities, 85 years young. Okay, what do you want me to use next time? 95? Okay. You guys are just spring chickens, I know. Okay. I really want to thank you guys for coming. I know this is the first session that I've had. I expected Marsha and Stanley to come and be the only ones because I begged them to come. So thank you guys for showing up. We will do this every month. It'll be a new topic. I'm the 4th Friday of the month at 10 o'clock right here. I can't wait to see you guys next month. Okay, of course.